long as teams in contention to make the top 24 advancing to tomorrow's semifinal action beginning at 11 a.m. Bowlers, when your girls come up and you have a full rack of pins, you can begin your APB qualifying of the 2025 PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic.
And good morning, everyone, from Community Lanes in Minster, Ohio. This is the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. I'm $2 Phil Bryla, bringing you through the weekend here. 3 squads are qualifying today here in Minster before we'll cut to our top 24 tomorrow for elimination rounds. Those elimination rounds will begin at 11 a.m. As the top 24 will come back, bowl 4 games, cut the field of the top 16. Pinfall will continue to carry over. Top 3 games, top 16 bowl 3 additional games. Pinfall continues to carry over. Then we get to our top 8, where the bowl 2 additional games and our 4 players step ladder scheduled to start around 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. $4,000 on top this weekend here in Minster. And let's get you introduced to your players here on A Squad. 3 players on most pairs, a couple of pairs with 2 in this 3-squad event. Justin Knowles is starting as your bowler A on 1 and 2. Samuel King, your bowler B. Scott McIntyre Jr., your bowler double A, as they'll make their way across the center. Over on 3 and 4, Brad Miller is your bowler A. Jacob Balzer, your bowler double A. I'm sorry, it's Treg Smart is your A. Jacob Balzer is your double A. Late withdrawal, so Brad Miller moved over to 7 and 8. We'll get you introduced to him momentarily. If you have any questions about the event, drop it in the chat. These bowlers are taking on the 43-foot Earl Anthony pattern here at Community Lanes. About 34.4 milliliters of oil in the pattern. There's a lot of oil in that 43 feet. So you're seeing some players using a lot of surface early this morning, trying to get through that volume. About a 2-to-1 ratio outside to in on both sides of the lane. A little flatter on the left side, a little bit more of a gradual increase to the crown of the pattern on the left side as compared to the right. So it'll be interesting to see how these players attack the pattern, especially if fewer bowlers than they normally see in qualifying on a pair. Normally, you get 4 players on a pair during qualifying, but with 3 qualifying squads here in Minster, our B squad today is going to start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And And our C squad starts tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. For that start time, good mix this weekend. We have some PBA Tour exempt players you're going to see in the field, like you see with Justin Knowles. Good mix of some guys that hit a lot of the stops on tour, like Brad Miller. And a good mix of PBA regional players and a few non-members. A lot of college players out here for this event. And I'm sure we'll see them in our following events. Next event these players will go to starts in Delphus, Ohio on Tuesday. We will not have coverage of that regional event of the Dave and Diane Kills Central Open. You can follow it though on PBA.com on the regional page, but we'll be back next weekend as one of the biggest super regionals of the year in the country with the PBA BowlerStore.com Classic presented by Moxie's Extra Pair. It's time to get cold watered at Playmore Lanes in nearby Coldwater, Ohio. And we'll talk a little later here in Game 1 about a great bonus prize fund out there for players that are bowling in all 3 of these events here in Minster, Delphus, and Coldwater. 5 and 6, Brad Miller, your bowler A. Remember, Brad Miller's your double A. Brandon Kennard, your bowler A, as Kennard crosses over, manages to trip a few things down. There you see Trevor Ashby with the messenger carried. He's your bowler double A. Bailey Maverick, multiple-time PBA regional champion, your bowler A. Xander Crouch bowling as a guest is your bowler B on 9 and 10. A little unusual having a pair in the middle of the house out of play during a PBA regional event. 5 and 6 not in play. There's a big support pole right behind the ball return on 5 and 6. So with all the equipment these players have and stuff, smart pair to take out of play was 5 and 6. As Maverick, the solid 9. Thanks everyone for joining us this morning here, bright and early in Minster. All pairs and plays available on the PBA YouTube channel as well. So if you open up the description underneath the video that you're watching, you'll see all those links. So let's say you're a Brad Miller fan, you want to follow him all day long. You can click on those links and watch him with the ambient audio on those pairs. My suggestion is right-click on those links. Open up a new tab because you can keep us open for your audio then in the main feed. We can give you updates. We follow hot hands. Bowlers pursuing perfection in the game. And then you can toggle back to us when that happens and watch your favorite players. They go from pair to pair across the house today. There you see PBA exempt player Patrick Dombrowski, your bowler A. Max Volsard, your bowler B. Zach Newman, your bowler double A on 11 and 12. On 13 and 14, Tom Source is your bowler A. Michael Klingenberg bowling as a guest, your bowler B. And Corey Hersha, powerful righty out of Indiana. Hersha, your double A on 13 and 14. Another thing we keep us on here for the main feed is we'll tell you the player movement from game to game as well. So that way when you are following your favorite player on that second pair, you can make sure you open the right pair feed on the first opportunity when they move pairs. So with the 3 events back to back to back here in Minster, Delphus, and Coldwater, those 3 centers have acquired some additional sponsorship for a secondary prize fund. Brunswick Cup presented by WCSM Radio has a $10,000 prize fund for the bowlers that compete in all 3 events. And there's going to be a points list based on those events. Basically, number of players you beat in a field is the number of points you get. So this week here in Minster, the winner will receive 68 points. 67 points will go to second place, 66 for third, and so on down the line. You must bowl all 3 events between Minster, Delphus, and Coldwater to be eligible for the Brunswick Cup prize list. $4,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $2,000 for third, and $1,000 for fourth. So a nice chunk of bonus change available to these players. Along with the big prize money in these regionals. $4,000 is your first place this weekend in the Kremer Roofing Classic. Looking at a similar amount in Delphus. And the big money next weekend in Coldwater, as that BowlerStore.com Classic presented by Moxie's Extra Pair will pay $10,000 to the winner in Coldwater. Zeke Bate took down that big check last year. Don't see Bate on the roster this weekend. But our defending champion in Minster for this Kremer Roofing Classic, Ryan Liederbach, your reigning PBA Central Region Player of the Year. Liederbach will be on C Squad at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tonight as he tries to defend some other big names with PBA Tour players on them. On B Squad, you've got PBA Tour champion A.J. Johnson, another champion in Jason Sterner, 3rd champion Kyle Sherman. Last year's Rookie of the Year runner-up Alec Keplinger, Michael Davidson, Frank Snodgrass, and Matt Kuba all on B Squad at 1:30 p.m. today. And on C Squad, oh, Zeke Bate is on C Squad. I apologize, Zeke. See you there on C Squad. So Zeke could be chasing a little bit of that Brunswick Cup money. And some PBA Tour champions on C Squad beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern with Chris Prather, Ethan Fiore, and Anthony Lacaz, along with Anthony Neuer, Mikey Schleba, Brian Robinson, Gene Perez, Trevor Roberts, Zeke Bate, and Zach Tackett. Lots of big names all weekend long here in Minster. Glad to have you on board here on the PBA YouTube channel. Let's check in with our last grouping here on A squad. On 15 and 16, Eric Dashner is your bowler A. Aiden Furukawa bowling as a guest, your bowler B. And Jonathan Norman, your bowler double A. On 17-18, there you see Ryan Lakota. Lakota pulling some triple duty this weekend, bowling this squad, and then he'll be doing all kinds of things here at Community Lanes. One of the staff members here. One of the management staff members here. Shouldn't sell the poor guy short. Lakota's your double A. PBA Tour champion Graham Fa is your bowler A. Lakota double A. Lakota hangs that one out. 2-8-10. I think we're going to see a lot of those 2-10 combinations on slightly errant shots to the right or slightly quick out of the hand as the breakdown on this Earl Anthony pattern progresses. And no love bounce for Lakota, and he's looking at a max of 214 here in game one, but one would expect on this Earl Anthony pattern. The lane differential here from pair to pair at Community Lanes, not as pronounced as it is that we'll see next weekend at Coldwater. I heard Chris Prather during the practice session yesterday talking how Coldwater is 8 different bowling centers in one. That's a good way to put it. There may be 3 different bowling centers here at Community Lanes. A little difference on the low end of the house, as lanes 1 through 6 were added on after the original build back in 1969. And then the outside couple of pairs, they say play they hook a little bit more than lanes 7 through 14. So we'll see how these bowlers adjust as they make their way through, but what I would expect would be I'm thinking a 210 average or so would probably be our top 24 for tomorrow. And once again, no match play this weekend. It's all elimination from round to round to round. So 24 advance tomorrow with their pinfall. 4 games in that cashers round. Then we'll drop our bottom 8. 16 bowlers will advance for 3 additional games. Pinfall continuing to carry over. Then we'll slice the field in half. And we'll have our final 8 players bowl 2 additional games. And once those 17 games are in the books, top 4 players will be seated into a stepladder by those qualifying scores. So Fa going for the solid start here with 246 possible. We'll get back down over to Dombrowski momentarily, as Dombrowski's got a chance to put a good score on the board. So we'll peek in on Dombrowski after Fa's shot there. There we go. Dombrowski looking to convert a single pin. Can still get to 237, and we'll check in on Justin Knowles, as Knowles has a chance to get to 236 here if he can catch all 3 in the 10th frame. Knowles gets them all to go. Looks like he's got himself a little urethane in hand. Not surprising early on this pattern, especially for the players that like to keep it straight through the front part of the lane, like Fa, Dombrowski, and well, Dombrowski's not in urethane, no. Knowles is in urethane. Let's get over to Dombrowski in the foundation frame. Great toss by Team Coaster Bowlers. You just heard him right there coming on the way back. Threw it better. You don't leave 9 pins when you throw it better. And you see the H5G logo on Knowles' jersey. We want to thank H5G. One of the reasons why we're able to bring you this Kremer Roofing Classic on the PBA YouTube channel. They're the official merchandiser of the PBA. Get your official PBA merchandise. You can scan that QR code on your screen. As a good break there for Knowles. We'll put him in the 260s, barring disaster. H5gbrands.com. And if you're looking to get new jerseys for yourself and or your bowling team for this upcoming fall season, beat the rush. Get those orders in now. And if you have an idea in mind, talk to one of the H5G's talented design team, and they can bring your ideas to life. So your player movement after game 1 is just going to be simply a single pair to the right. So the players you see on 3 and 4, they're actually going to move to 7 and 8, with 5 and 6 being a dead pair. 1 and 2 will go over to 3 and 4. And there you go, great finish there for Knowles. So player movement, game 2 coming up next here on A Squad for the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Hey, do yourself a favor, do me a favor as well. Let people know on social media that you're watching some of the best in the PBA take to the lanes here in Minster, and that bowling fans can watch for free here all weekend long on the PBA YouTube channel. So Brad Miller looking to finish full punch in the 10th, not going to happen. Miller's solid game till the 8th frame, then back-to-back opens frames 8 and 9. We're into game 2. If you want to follow players on 7 through 10 as they work their way back into pace, you can do that on that lane feed. All the pairs in play available to you on the PBA YouTube channel with the ambient audio from that pair. So my recommendation is right-click on those links you see in the description below the video that you're watching. Open that up in a second tab. If you're looking to follow Brad Miller, he'll stay on that feed as he'll move from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. All our players simply moved one pair to the right after their opening game. Graham Fa, Ryan Lakota made the big move down from 15 16 down here to 1 and 2. Great start for Fa. He was in the 240s in the opening game here on this Earl Anthony pattern. And off to a solid start here with a strike in game 2. Appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. I know it's bright and early for some of you. If you're tuning in from the West Coast, 5:29 in the morning, I appreciate that more than you know. But hey, you get a little bit of the Brad and Kyle show today. Brad Miller on this squad, Kyle Sherman on B squad, coming up 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And our C squad tonight will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. Lots of PBA Tour champions all across our 3 squads today. I consider this the biggest regional week in the Central region all year long, especially because at the end of this run between Minster, Delphus, and Coldwater, that $10,000 first place check in Coldwater, that could even bounce back a tour player's year that maybe didn't have the greatest of tour years, such as a Brad Miller or a Kyle Sherman. Knowles keeps things rolling. An opening 3-bagger, surprising single pin miss by Fa. And there you see Central Regional Manager Bobby Jacob coming through, getting the scores, making sure the jackpots get paid properly, making sure you're able to get the scores, game-by-game scoring updates will be available to you on PBA.com. I'm going to drop the link in to that live scoring momentarily in your chat. There it is. So we'll drop that into the chat occasionally as it gets bumped out with all the chatter. Scooby, thanks, man. Yeah, there's definitely diehard PBA fans, and the thing is, with these PBA regional events, a lot of these events have PBA Tour champions. I mean, they have. Think about it. PBA Tour season. It's a short season. I mean, this year we were done in June, and that was with a few weeks of playoffs. I mean, technically, the season was done in May for majority of the players, as Knowles gets away with a little footwork issue to put the Rob Stone pork product on the board. Yeah, until these bowlers see tour action again, that you'll see those national telecasts in February starting on the CW nationwide. Still got to give our props to Rob Stone. All those years on Fox and FS1, everything Rob did to get the PBA over there. And his support of the PBA Tour. Can't call it what Rob calls it for a four-bagger. I can't afford the royalties. Rob's got that jet-setting lifestyle. He's got that network TV money. Meanwhile, here on 10 on the Deck Productions, it's a $2 Phil, along with Phil and another Phil. Yeah, it's me bringing you this all weekend long. I want to thank the PBA, Tom Clark, Carissa Del Bene, Jeff Goodger, everyone that helps 10 on the Deck stream these regional events to the PBA YouTube channel. I want to thank Bowl TV, who normally has the digital rights for all PBA events, for releasing the rights of this event to 10 on the Deck, along with next week in Coldwater. You'll have some PBA events coming up on Bowl TV in September, October, November, as players try to make their way into the Regional Players Invitational. Once again this year, that RPI is going to be held at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, December 11th through 14th. $15,000 on top in the PBA division, $10,000 on top in the PBA 50 division, as players from all 7 domestic PBA regions, along with PBA Japan, PBA Sweden, will have representatives there as well. And all the RPI qualifiers across the 7 domestic regions will be streamed on Bowl TV. Your first RPI qualifier, less than a month out, as the East region will have their RPI qualifier for the standard division, September 13th and 14th at Mid-County Lanes in Middletown, Delaware. For the Central region, will be the first RPI held on the certified string pin centers, as the RPI returns to Easy Bowl in Bluffton, Indiana, home of EJ and Zach Tackett. For the PBA Family Florida Bluffton Easy Bowl, Yergis Barbecue. Central Open, powered by Cubica AMF Edge String. And we'll have regional coverage of an event on the PBA, on the Cubica AMF Edge String Pin Centers coming up on September 13th and 14th. So we'll be streaming at the same time that East RPI is going on, but we'll be doing it on the PBA YouTube channel with the PBA Foxview Lanes Midwest Open, presented by H5G Brands, powered by Cubica AMF Edge String. There'll be some big PBA Tour names on that roster as well. Last year, EJ Tackett took down the title over Marshall Kent in that championship match. For those of you looking for EJ Tackett on the rosters over the next events here in Minster, Delphus, and Coldwater, EJ and his beautiful bride Natalie. They're heading to Australia for some events there. So EJ not on the roster. I'm sure there's some players breathing a sigh of relief. In these events, knowing that it's one less check that would be going to a PBA Tour player, most likely. So we'll check in on Dombrowski momentarily. Brad Miller's just getting underway on 9 and 10. They had a slight delay, mechanical malfunction on that pair, so it's as Miller and Kennard just underway. We'll check with them shortly. As Knowles looking to get back to striking, which he does, possible 279 to follow the start in the 230s. So some of your scores, big scores from game one, 3 of our top 4 are PBA exempt bowlers with Graham Fah, Justin Knowles, and Patrick Dombrowski. Fah with 246, Knowles 236. Eric Dashner wedges his way into the 3rd spot at 230. 226 for Patrick Dombrowski. Other notables, 207 for Brad Miller, 204 for Ryan Lakota, 174 for Bailey Maverick, and 170 for Corey Hersha. But as we said, this scoring pace on the Earl Anthony pattern, I'm not expecting it to be unusually high. I'm thinking you get to 80 over or so for tomorrow after watching yesterday's practice session. I think you're walking out of here feeling pretty good about making that top 24. And Lakota wraps a 10. Speaking on Dombrowski, '85 in the 5th, working on a strike. And that one, yeah, he was asking that one to hold off at about 50 feet, and these angles generated by the 17 feet of crisp back end. Shots right are leaving 2/8 or 2/8 10. Not leaving a lot of solo pins. Those Aaron shot right. And, there you see Dombrowski 3, 6, 7, and 10 to try to convert. I think the bowlers like the pace. 3 on a pair. They get to stay really loose between shots. And especially for these bowlers here in A squad, a lot of time to enjoy the lane 19 patio. One of our great sponsors here this weekend. Of course, our title sponsor, Kremer Roofing, but let's give you a look at our diamond, platinum, and gold sponsors here. These PBA regional events don't happen without local support. And there is a lot of it here. News Radio 1150 WIMA. Brunswick, one of your platinum partners, along with KR Strikeforce. Lane 19 patio is going to be a nice buffet for all the bowlers that Doug and Lori Davidson put out. I know the bowlers appreciate that before or after their bowling. And once again, thanks to all of our sponsors. I know there's more in the silver and bronze category, such as Play More Lanes, our host coming up next weekend. Arrowhead Golf Club and the Bunker Restaurant. Speedway Lanes right up the road in New Bremen, Ohio. The Looking Glass Salon and Spa. One of the bronze sponsors, Chiltex Heating, Cooling, and Mechanical Services. Mel's Decorating with Carpet, Tile, and Hardwood. And the Versailles Poultry Days, held in this area every June. Brown Chiropractic. And Garmin Miller round out the bronze sponsors here at Community Lanes. Knowles, you can see right there, he knew before that ball got to the break point it was not going to end well. Fa trying to salvage 2-0. Yeah, missed single pin in the second. Didn't help matters any. And beginning to wonder if Fa is going to be looking for a ball change on the fill ball here in game 2. So Lakota with a nice bounce back. The 204 opening game going to pile possible 242 on top of that. He'll pass Fa on the leaderboard if he does. You'll see these players skipping a pair landing on the second, so 1 and 2 is going to go to 7 and 8. 3 and 4 is going to go to 9 and 10 for game 3. For those of you that are double tabbing, if you're a Graham Fa fan or a Justin Knowles fan, and Knowles goes from oh no to wow, that actually carried. So Knowles looking to put up 257 here to go with his opening 236. Dakota keeps pacing as he is. We'll see him tomorrow in that top 24. As Scott McIntyre going, you got to be kidding me, man. What did I do to deserve that in the 10th frame? 256 for Knowles. We're not cutting from it. Every time you cut away from a 710, they end up making it. So we're not going to cut away because we'll see if we get a little bounce here for McIntyre out of the pit. We do not. Last original we covered in Bowling Green for the PBA 50. The Gary Schlichter Memorial. Chris Barnes and Mike Clark Jr. both made 710s during that event. Problem is for Clark Jr., his was when a 6-7-10 was standing. I still count that as a 710 make. I don't know if anybody else does, but we had those clips out on social media. I know they made the way around a bit. Hopefully we get to put a couple more good spare conversions out there as well as the weekend goes on. Maybe even a highlight of a 300 or two. Ashby should have a little bit of a chance to make that 4-8-10. Use that 8-pin for a little help with the 4. As Bailey Maverick gives a champion salute to Dombrowski, as Dombrowski's going to try to finish in the 190s. And yeah, you need to have the 4 hit the 8 to get help, not chop it off there, Trevor. So once again, pacing's a little off. We're coming back from a mechanical issue on one of the pairs that has a couple of sets of bowlers slowed down a little bit. And Dombrowski getting back in the 190s. And Dombrowski, 190 on the head. Let's check in on Brad Miller. Miller, spare 3-bagger, spare. He's your bowler double A at 9 and 10. There you see Miller getting ready to go. Wonder what flavor the chewing gum is this morning. We'll have to ask him between games. I'm guessing he's a doubleman kind of guy. Well, bowling doubles. Doubles are always good. I love sneaking up on the bowlers because they don't realize we have the spy cam on them. There's Graham Fa checking out things on his phone. Brad Miller's going to be getting up to go momentarily. Whoa, that camera got a little. I'll have to bring up the brightness on that camera in a little bit. As Kennard looking for the 65-foot lane to try to get to the pocket on that shot. Oh, wiggle, and of course the insult. Trig Smart, like, come on, you're not going to fall. I hit you hard enough. Some of your players already underway on game 3. As once again, players skipping a pair, landing on the second. So Dombrowski and company moving from 13 and 14 to 17 and 18. They'll be underway momentarily with their third game. Source, Klingenberg, Hersha underway on 1 and 2. Dashner, Furukawa, Norman underway on 3 and 4. And as we said, we've got a couple pairs here that are bouncing back from mechanical issue. And I would expect, especially with the bowlers being affected. Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, it died a little bit at the pocket, but I think it was 7-10 dead for Brad Miller. He's getting ready to fire. He's got to watch out. These pin setters here are right in the flat cutter, but no bounce. These pin setters here normally run like Swiss watches, but they are a little slower than what some players may be used to with these Brunswick pin setters. So yesterday during the practice session early on, I won't say who, but he's a PBA major champion. Got a little aggressive with throwing at his spare, didn't realize how slow the machines were and hit the rake. Doug Davidson reminded all the players about the speed of the pin setters here being a little slower than what they may be used to. I mean, there's a bright spot for Miller with that bad break. Yeah, it cost him 11 pins, but at least it wasn't, the 30 pin snap you get sometimes with being between a couple of doubles. For those of you joining us here on the PBA YouTube channel this weekend and haven't heard my voice before, I'm $2 Phil Brilo. I'm 10 on the Deck Productions in conjunction. Wow, a huge break there on that shot for Kennard. Takes out the 247. We work with the PBA on streaming some regional events, and this is one of them. We'll be streaming next weekend as well from Coldwater. I want to thank everybody that's brought us down for these events with Doug and Lori Davidson here at Community Lanes. Rick and Linus Harding's family over at Playmore Lanes in Coldwater. So we're our own independent company. I do a lot of televised bowling in Wisconsin. We've got a fun show called the Brew City Bowling Show that we've got a little short welcome back to bowling run going over the next 3 weekends. So we've got some tape shows we'll be airing on My 24 Milwaukee, sister station of the CW. And we're a one-man production crew here at 10 on the Deck. You might be familiar with some other live streamers that have 3, 4, 5-person crews. We got to make it affordable for the proprietors, as you know, we got to get our hotel rooms paid and our gas paid here, and we want to make it affordable. So I got in Thursday night, set up everything before the practice session yesterday. Got all our cables taped down, all our cameras in place, and we'll try to fill the commentary throughout all 3 squads today, throughout all the elimination rounds tomorrow, and the step ladder. We'll try to get a booth guest or two over the 3 squads today. Sometimes it's a little tough. Might be a little tough today too. That nice buffet that Doug and Lori Davidson put out on the lane 19 patio for the players between rounds. Barbecue. Oh, the barbecue is so good here. They have their own smokers here at Community Lanes. It's a wonderful thing. Walked in this morning, oh, you could smell everything cooking out there. And Miller finding problems again. The overcorrection from the pocket 710 leaves him with a baby split. So these players are finishing up here in game 2. 8-game qualifying blocks all weekend long, or actually all day long today, for A, B, and C squads. And tomorrow, round of 24 has 4 games, round of 16 has 3 games, round of 8 has 2 games before we get to our 4-player stepladder final. About 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow for that stepladder for the PBA Kremer Irving Central Classic. I'm $2 Phil Brylo. Thanks everyone for joining us this morning. Hope to have a lot of you stick around with us all day and night long. As we get into game 3, Brad Miller, wow, not the finish he wanted on 9 and 10. Lane 10 bid him the last 3 frames. Open, open, open for 181. Dombrowski started 226. Not the greatest of games. In game 2, looking to get right back on track here. Game 3, he's clean. Only 2 strikes through his first 6 frames. And once again, every little change in this Earl Anthony oil pattern to go with the bit of a difference from pair to pair here at Community Lanes. Not as pronounced as we'll see next weekend in Coldwater. But 1 through 4 play a little different than 7 through 14, and they say 15 through 18. A little more hooked than the rest of the house. And a little trial by fire today for Max Volsard. 174 for his opening game. A couple non-members in the field. And some players having some struggles early on for our non-members. Highest non-member after game 1 was Samuel King in 13th place with a 174. So, you know, when you talk to PBA tour players like Dombrowski, like Knowles, like Fa, you know, you can practice all you want. You can be ready. You can get the tournament pattern out. You can come in the bowling center you're going to bowl in. Have them put the tournament pattern out, get all kinds of practice on it. I think you know what's going to happen. But you don't find the type of oil pattern destruction that you're going to see unless you've bowled PBA regional events. And even at the regional level, you don't see the oil pattern changes that you see at the tour level. So for some of our guests bowling today, it's a bit of a trial by fire. Here you go. You saw it in the practice session yesterday, but a lot of times players are trying so many different bowling balls, so many different things with lines, adjustments, surfaces. What you see in the practice session is really what you see tournament day. Wow, there's one you don't see very often. Usually the 7 stands with it. The old 4-9-10. Trevor Ashby. And he he's allowed to get that pin respotted. That was moved by the machine. So let's see if he talks to someone on the tournament staff. I think he's trying to flag Bobby Jekyll down right now. Yeah, if the machine moves it, it's allowed to be put back on the original spot. If it's moved by another pin or a bowling ball, it has to stay where it was. So, I mean, he's going to shoot the 4-pin. It might be a little advantage having that 10 a little farther to the right, bounce the 4 off the front of the 9 and have it carry over into the 10. We'll see if he decides to have it moved or not. I see Bobby Jekyll behind the pair right now, talking over with Trevor. We'll get back to them in a minute. It sounds like they're getting it moved. Let's checking on Knowles. He's our hot hand right now. Fa just to his left. Rymine, yeah, it's amazing how humbling sport patterns can be. But as you said, it makes you better, and the more you bowl on, the better you're going to be, especially your spare game. That was the one thing I really improved on over the years from the sport leagues that I bowled on, was my spare game. I remember talking to PBA Tour champion Ryan Simonelli during an event, and he asked me what I bowled, what I did. And at that time, I was with Extra Frame, PBA's Extra Frame live streaming service. I said, I'm so busy all the time, man. I bowl once a week. It's a sport league, and I average 194. And he goes, man, that's better than you think for once a week bowling. And that was kind of neat to hear from a PBA Tour champion. He goes, man, that's better than you think. And I think if I get myself out of the old retirement, decide to strap on the Dexters once again. I got 3Gs. Hold on, I switched to 3Gs before I retired. They're both good shoes. I just happened to get a deal on the 3Gs. Yeah, I would find a sport league around where I'm at and bowl that. I just like the challenge of it. Sure, it's fun, getting some breaks on the lanes and throwing 6-baggers and that kind of thing. It has its place in the game on the recreation side, but it was fun. I always enjoyed bowling sport leagues. Back in the late 90s, when the ABC came up with the concept of sport bowling, I bowled in one of their test leagues in the greater Milwaukee area. Actually, I bowled in 2 of their test leagues in the greater Milwaukee area. They're both in the same center. And they had some interesting rules we had to follow at the time because it was all testing. And one of the leagues that we had, everybody, if you're old enough, you remember the proactive bowling balls or the particle shells on the bowling balls. We had a league that you couldn't use proactive bowling balls. And we had another league where all the patterns were 32 feet or shorter. Which pretty much, let's face it, forced you to either use, and you weren't using aggressive reactive resin. I mean, a lot of us used polyester on those patterns for that 32-foot or shorter. So Knowles just keeps chugging along. 4-bagger here, Fa on a double after the Cornish hen. That's 3 spares in a row for those of you unfamiliar with the $2 field term. We'll get you the 2-game scoring update as soon as it comes across the wire. Once again, that link, if you want to follow it yourself game by game through the PBA's partners at League Pals, that link in your chat. Hey, ND Bowl TV. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. You guys do some good work up in that neck of the woods. I believe you just had, and I apologize, I've just been busy with my own stuff. You guys just had the Midwest Youth Championships in Alexandria, Minnesota, if I remember correctly. That's always a huge event, some great scholarship awards given away at that Midwest Youth Championships. That's been running for quite a few years now. And as you know, ND Bowl TV, this stuff, man, it's a labor of love. We don't do it. We're not getting the huge checks when we're out here live streaming. You know, it's a good weekend when we get the expenses paid in a nice hotel and proprietor gets you a couple meals. It's a good time. There's a lot of lives. I mean, you probably count the number of bowling live streamers that do a good job like ND Bowl TV on two hands tops. So we're a pretty small community. We're not overly tight knit because we're all across the country. But you know, you've got us, you've got Emil Williams and Bowl Stream TV this weekend. There's an event. Our good friend Jeff Rickles has the 11th Frame Open in Dubuque, Iowa this weekend that Emil Williams Jr. is streaming. I know there's streaming of a tournament, the New Mexico Open, going on. ND Bowl TV, they do a lot of tournaments up in the Dakotas, even into Canada. Championship Bowling out of Utah. They stream a few events a year. And I know there's one or two more that are slipping my mind. But yeah, we're a small community. I mean, we're not flipping our phones on a pair of lanes and saying, "Hey, here we go, everybody." Yeah. We get some fun stuff. We get some toys we get to use. Like hey, here's a little different look at Scott McIntyre before he gets to the foul line. Yeah, we use more of the toys once we get into elimination rounds tomorrow. It's a little tough to throw extra cameras near the bowlers area, taking up space when there's this many players on every squad. So, yeah, Bowl TV might be the big boys on the block when it comes to live streaming. Obviously, they have the PBA rights for the national tour, and obviously, if they wanted it for the regional tour, they were nice enough to release the rights for this event and for Coldwater next weekend to us here at 10 on the Deck. They have the PWBA. They've got all the Team USA events, and yeah, they're the 800-pound gorilla of live bowling live streaming. But there's enough of us they let sneak in here and there, give you some great coverage of bowling, whether it's with PBA Tour champions like Graham Fobb, PBA Tour exempt players like Justin Knowles and Patrick Dombrowski, and so many more we're going to have on BNC Squad as well. And, you get ND Bowl TV and others that get some great amateur events that might have a PBA professional or two in them. And like I said, I know there's a lot of choices this weekend. I mean, there's three big events. I know New Mexico Open's got a pretty healthy paycheck on top. Of course, with Mike Fagan, former PBA Tour titleist, now taking over the operations at 10 Pin and more in the greater Albuquerque area. I'm sure that tournament will get bigger and better. And then the 11th Frame Open, beautiful facility at Cherry Lanes inside of the Diamond Joe Casino in Dubuque, Iowa. Jeff Riggles, one of the most prolific PBA regional titleists. Hosting that event in conjunction with his 11thframe.com blog. Nope, we got somebody in the building watching, live and on YouTube. Thanks for watching, Brandon. And Linda, good morning to you as well. Didn't get a chance to say hi to Ryan yesterday in the practice session. I was too busy setting stuff up, but our defending champion, Ryan Liederbach, he'll be taking the lanes on C-Squad tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to seeing Ryan trying to defend this title. And, of course, when we're in Coldwater next week for the BowlerStore.com Classic presented by Moxie's Extra Pair. Zeke Bate, who's also on C-Squad tonight, he's your defending champion in Coldwater. And once again, we can't thank all of our sponsors enough with the Brunswick Cup for our bowlers bowling here in Minster, over in Delphus on Wednesday and Thursday, and in Coldwater Saturday, Sunday, as $10,000 in the added prize money on the line for points list for bowlers that bowl all three of those events. $4,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $2,000 for third, and $1,000 for fourth. And thanks to WCSM Radio for being the presenting sponsor of that Brunswick Cup. Lots of money up for grabs here in West Central Ohio over the next 8 or 9 days. Linda, you don't have to come in to watch the lefties. We got two of them out here right now for you. You got Knowles, you got Fa. We'll get away from them in a minute. We got to go check in on Dabrowski and company. Well, I think they're actually done. As you see, yeah, there's Dombrowski who was way down. Bowlers are going to skip 2 pairs land on the third here after game 3. And I never gave everybody a 2-game scoring update because we got a couple of pairs that are kind of playing catch-up from an earlier situation. So Knowles, your leader, plus 92. Then Fa second, plus 38. Lakota third, plus 36. Dashner plus 23 in fourth, and Dombrowski was fifth on the squad. There were only 5 players over a 200 average after our first 2 games. Yeah, you walk out of here at plus 80. You're feeling pretty good about getting to tomorrow. No doubt about it. Take a peek in here on Bailey Maverick. Dombrowski, and of course I went to go look for the score, and it cleared. And Maverick, double but an open off setting so far. Maverick, one of those players under after their first 2 games. He's 65 under after 2. Yeah, that was a very weak 7-pin for Fa. I think he's just to the point right now where he knows he's going to plaque a lot of 7s, but if the spare game's in play and you're getting out here shooting $190s and maybe you get a pair you carry and shoot 220, 230 on, you're not in bad shape at the moment. Knowles starting to get that same reaction after the front 5, so will we see those players possibly switching over to reactive resin? We'll find out after the move pairs. Once again, players you see here on 7 and 8. Skipping over to 13 and 14. 9 and 10 going to 15 and 16. PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic rolls on here from Community Lanes in Minster, Ohio. And once again, we want to thank not just Doug and Lori Davidson for bringing us down to live stream this weekend, but also want to thank our friends at H5G Brands for their support of 10 on the deck for PBA Regional live streaming all year long. Beat the rush. Get those jerseys for yourself and your league mates Get those orders in early. Be bold, be creative, be original. H5gbrands.com. Game 4 coming up next after player movement. So Brad Miller going to get a ball, looking to get to 183. Let's get the players already into game 4. Dombrowski opens with a strike. Dombrowski up with a spare on 7 and 8. Dombrowski bowling with Volsard as your B. Zach Newman's your double A, which obviously leaves Dombrowski as your A. Next door at 9 and 10. Tom Source, Corey Hersha, and Klingenberg. Source your A, Klingenberg your B, Hersha your double A. Once again, after 2 games, only 5 players averaging 200 or better in those first 2 games. 4 of those players regulars on the PBA Tour with Knowles, File, Lakota, and Dombrowski. Dombrowski just stopped by the booth. I'm like, yeah, it's full grind for you guys today, isn't it? He goes, yep. He goes, I don't mind. Does not mind the grind. So a couple players just finishing up game 3. It'll be a little bit before we get to that game 3 scoring update. We're going to go light for the next few minutes on the commentary. A couple things we're going to take a peek at. Going to take a walk around, see if there's any players in B squad in the building that we can chat with about what they're seeing out here on the lanes. And if we get somebody, we'll bring them back in. Otherwise, you get me $2 Phil back on the headset in a couple of minutes. All right, just had a chance to talk to our leader, Justin Knowles, and had to ask him, I go, do you think you can stay in urethane all 8 games? He goes, I think so. He goes, he thinks with the volume in the pattern, the righties aren't going to get overly deep. I mean, he's on the left gutter. I mean, let's take a peek in on him, as he's going to be starting on 15 and 16 momentarily. He goes, if the righties don't get into my landing area, they don't start lofting the left gutter cap. He doesn't see that happening with as few players on the pairs, with only 3 on a pair. He goes, he thinks he can stay in urethane all squad long. And then he followed up immediately with, of course, as soon as I say that, I'm going to plaque 8 7-pins in a row. And I looked at him, I said, yeah, but if you make all 8 and catch a 3-bagger in there for 210, you're outpacing the field. There's only 5 bowlers after 2 games in the plus, and his eyes lit up like, wow, because he's shot a ton so far. He's in triple digits to the plus. And so that may, change his outlook, where he thought maybe he'd have to switch balls and maybe find trouble. And, well, of course, now he finds trouble. Of course, that was just a dead pull right. But we'll see if that prediction is staying in urethane. All 8 games stays true for Knowles. We'll get back to Dabrowski momentarily. It's another player that's had a solid start to his day. Dabrowski was our last player in the plus, at plus 16 after 2, and he's got a 4-bagger now after an opening spare down at 7 and 8. Appreciate everybody that's peeked in this morning. I know there's been a few people jumping in and out of the feed. It's a weekend. Grocery shopping's got to get done. Laundry's got to get done. But we're glad to be able to bring you this on PBA YouTube. And, of course, if something exciting happens, you can always go back and watch it in the archives. As that one behind the 2-pin for Knowles. And we'll see what he can do in the second frame to correct. So Dabrowski keeps things rolling. Now a 5-bagger on the board. Knowles bounced back off the first frame out with a strike. We'll get back and peek in on him. He steps up in the third. Waiting on that 3-game update. You got a link a little higher up in the chat that you can get your game-by-game scoring updates all event long as well. For the half dozen. Oh. There's no way a pin should be able to go around that low and that fast around the 10 without hitting it. It's almost like it's defying physics when that happens. So Knowles finds trouble again on lane 16. We saw the dead pull, at least I thought it was a dead pull. His previous shots, he left that 247-10 now wide. And he's got the sleeper 9 pin him back. Get that ball across the face, doesn't quite get there, and our leader now with 2 opens and 3 frames here in game 4. So here's your totals after 3. Once again, your live scoring link available to you in the chat. Justin Knowles, 126 over for his first 3 games. 82 pins ahead of Tom Sorensen second. That's just incredible this morning. Games at 236, 256, and 234. Obviously, he's going to need to pretty much punch out to get another game in the 230s. As we'll go over to Dombrowski, looking at get that ball. Yeah, a little quick out of the hand. Can't roll the 2. And trouble for Dombrowski. Tom Sorensen second, plus 44. Big game for Source in game 3. As he shot 255 after opening a 197 and 192. Graham Fa in third, plus 35. Fa's holding on to that opening game. 246 and follow at 192, 197. Dombrowski did convert that 210 in the 8th frame. Ryan Lakota hanging on to 4th, plus 34. Xander Crouch, big run for Crouch up in the 5th as a guest bowler, 200, 255 after an opening 166 as Crouch in 5th on the squad at plus 21. Dombrowski after a 193 game leaves him at plus 9, our last player in the plus on this squad, so 6 players on the squad averaging 200 or better to this point. Sir Anthony pattern playing a little tough here. Yeah, community lanes for this Kremer Roofing Classic. Now Knowles has to figure out what to do on lane 16. Get over to Dombrowski. Foundation frame, that's left to target, yeah. That was easily 3 boards left the last time on that wrap 10. If you haven't already subscribed to the PBA YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? I mean, it's not just these great regional events that 10 of the Deck Productions produces in conjunction with the PBA that you can watch while the PBA tour is in its off season. Every Friday, the great Friday 5 video highlights in a 5-clip package. Keep you thirsting for more PBA tour action during the off season. recently just had their 300th episode of the Friday Five. So congratulations to our Friday Five for number 300. As Knowles finds a way to double. Figures out the riddle, lane 16, just needs to do it a couple more times this game, and he could get himself another solid game, keep himself in the lead. And that's the thing this weekend. Sometimes these PBA regional events where they get seeded into a bracket for match play, sometimes the bowlers, I don't want to say don't worry about all the pinfall, but you know, if it would have been a 24-player bracket and the first 8 would have gotten buys, sure, if you're not in the top 8, you just want to make sure you're somewhere between 9 and 24, obviously. You know, you might try a ball change that you normally may not have done, knowing you've got room for a mark or two to lose and still make match play. Well, full elimination format this weekend. No match play at all, whether it's bonus pin match play or best of match play. It's just keep piling on the pins round after round after round. So you really can't give anything away because you don't know whether that missed spare in game 1 of qualifying today is going to haunt you in the round of 8 tomorrow when you miss a step ladder by 7 pins. So yeah, just keep piling on the pinfall, get as much as you can, and that's what Knowles, Dombrowski, and all the other players in the field are trying to do right now. Speaking of Dombrowski, stepping up in the 10th frame, spare in the 9th, looking to get to 245, and that entry angle a little late. 234, though, would still be a respectable game. Guarantee you every player in this field would take a 234 3 or 4 times during their block. And once again, we apologize on occasion. We are going to catch on our ambient microphone. We're going to catch some unfiltered language from our PBA players. So thank goodness we don't have to deal with the FCC being on the internet. Dombrowski, no problem on the cover. Knowles got himself out to a 3-bagger. Let's check in on Fa. As he's looking at a game at a 186 maximum. Fa currently in 3rd. Lakota on his pair currently in 4th. Lakota, even with that open frame of the 9th, can still get the 221. And Fa gets the cover. Let's see if Fa tries something else in the fill ball. Nope, he's just staying right at the ball return. Chamois in hand already. He's going to stick with the ball. Got him there. 234 for Dombrowski, keeping in the plus, keeping in the top 5. One open, no doubles for Fa. Something's going to have to change if he's going to stay in the plus by the end of the block. A little quick out of the hand for Knowles, and you can see right there, yeah, not happy with the release. And this should be interesting, trying to hook Urethane across the lane, as Justin likes to take the scenic route, trying to get the ball to make sure the gentle Urethane movement, it gets the 3 and the 10. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he just kind of slows down his ball speed, try to get the urethane across the lane, or if he's going to try to play it a bit straighter. We know he likes to go scenic route on the right side spares. Well, maybe not full scenic route, but it needs to get all the way across. You see, he's not happy with it. Yeah. Sorry I called that on you there, Mr. Knowles, but unfortunately, yeah, that's the bugaboo sometimes with urethane. When you need the angle, you can't generate it. Lakota gets out with 208. You give him that the last 4 games, I'm sure he'd have 0 issues with getting in tomorrow in the plus 80 range. Like I said, you walk out of your plus 80, you're feeling really good about your chances tomorrow. If Knowles strikes here, he's going to be extremely happy to know that the 10th frame will be on this same lane 15. Yeah, he's got the world on 15 and absolute air on 16. I don't want to say this 9th frame is the biggest frame of the day to this point for Knowles, but it is. You don't want to see people thinking that you're sliding too far backwards. Sure, you're going to get it open here or there all day. Nobody's getting out of this pattern with 80 clean. Nobody's getting out with 80 clean. I think anybody gets out of here with 75 clean, they're going to have a happy day. Because as you see there, Aaron shots, like you saw there for McIntyre, boy, you just miss a hair right, and the oil that's piled in the front of this Anthony pattern just lets that ball hydroplane past the break point. So 3 opens and 4 frames on lane 16. If you could bet on a single frame of bowling right now at some of the sites that allow wagering on the PBA like Bet Rivers, I wonder what Bet Rivers would have for strike by Knowles 9th frame game 4 for the odds. I bet you it wouldn't be in Justin's favor. I bet you open frame would have like the best odds. Oh, he gets them all to go, so still the possibility of 212 for Knowles. Well, every once in a while, these PBA players know you're going to get a grind game or 2 or 5 or 8 today, as the case may be. Knowles with the nice response in the foundation frame after those struggles. Nick, who decides the oil pattern? A lot of times it's a discussion between the regional man, for the regional events at least, it's a discussion between the regional manager and the proprietor on what's going to go out. They want to make sure there's a good rotation of patterns. Obviously, you don't want 12 cheetah regionals in the season. That has something to do with it as well. That way the regional manager can go, hey, we've just used Monticello 3 times in the last 3 months. Can we, get something else out here for the guys? So at the national level, it's kind of the same thing between Tony Lanning and Tom Clark and the host bowling center. Once again, it's a mix of a variety of patterns, and sometimes obviously centers want patterns sometimes that are higher scoring. Other times, like here at Community Lanes, and especially next weekend in Coldwater, they take pride in being a little tough. They take pride in knowing that somebody had to do the grind all weekend long, get themselves into the winner's circle. Let's check in on Brad Miller here, as Brad's just can't get anything going towards the end of the game. This time he gets stopped with no doubles, or pardon me, 1 double, offset by an open. 2 doubles offset by an open. Sub at 200 again for Miller. As Miller after 3 is at minus 30. I mean, you go, okay, not a great day. He's 8th on the squad at minus 30. This Anthony pattern, playing tough. So we've got our players finishing game 4. That means we're at the halfway point here of A squad qualifying. Your players are moving simply a pair to the right, so Knowles and company will move next door to 17, 18. Everybody else in game 5, if you're double tabbing us, has moved just 1 pair to the right, as a lot of our pairs are underway with that 5th game. And we'll be back to Community Lanes in Minster, Ohio for A squad of PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. B squad will take the lanes 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. C squad takes to the lanes at 7 p.m. tonight. Yeah, because that's the way you want a string of strikes to end. Ugh. Dombrowski with the pocket 7-10. Thanks everyone for joining us here at Community Lanes in Minster, Ohio for the PBA Kremer Roofing Classic. Oh, a little tease there from Dombrowski. You saw the pin get over to the left side of the pit, but no chance for coming back forward. Dombrowski just one of 6 players to the plus here on A squad. See if Dombrowski can shrug off the bad break in the 5th. Almost seems like for a lot of these players, you really want to gather the pins on the middle 4 pairs, 7 through 14, and have to deal with the little different stylings. 1 through 4 and 15 through 18. As you see Dombrowski right side of your screen. Nope. He knew when that ball reached 30 feet, it had no chance for the pocket. He's peeking on Knowles as he's bouncing back off a single pin miss in the first frame and a strike in the second. And now make it a double for Knowles. Can't cover it any better than you saw for Dombrowski on that baby split. I think if you polled the players today, asking about whether they have 3 in a pair or 4 in a pair during qualifying, I think you'd have them at 4 in a pair or 3 in a pair. I think they like the pace. They know they're going to get done in about 4 hours. You can occasionally, wave another player up in the pairs next to you. If there's, if you get thinking about a ball change or thinking about a line change and such. And not having to stand around for too long between shots. Something I always appreciated as a player. So we saw Knowles gut it out at the end of the last game. Keeps him as the only player in triple digits at plus 127, 84 pins up on Dombrowski. Dombrowski obviously trying to close that gap now. a solid start here in Game 5. And Dabrowski half. Yikes. Dabrowski plus 43, Lakota plus 42, Xander Crouch in fourth at plus 22, Graham Fa, Jonathan Norman tied for 5 and 6 at 19 over, and Tom Source, your last player in the plus, 7th place on the squad at plus 4. Other notables, Brad Miller minus 32, Bailey Maverick minus 65. And Corey Hersham among a multitude of players already in the triple digits in the negative after 4. So this Earl Anthony pattern not being pleasant for many players here this morning. It's got a chance. Oh, backdoor on the 6-pin. Good thing that head pin hit the front of the 10 and spun it into the 6. You see Dombrowski shaking the head on the way back going, I thought that was the right move. After the 7-10, and the ball just never picked up. Seeing the scoring pace so far here on A squad, what are the odds we'll see a perfect game this weekend? Slim to none, and none's got a foot out the door. I think there's a very, very slim chance. I don't think it'll be none, but very slim chance we'll see a perfect game this weekend. As Dombrowski crumbles the bucket, gives it a little stare down on the way back. Knowles looking for 4 in a row. And he's staying in that urethane, and so far, yeah, the righties haven't burned up his landing area yet. They're starting to get there. I wonder if by the end of this game they'll pull a resin out of the bag. Lakota comes back. Wow, that's a little unusual. Gutter spare for Lakota, the first frame. Or I'm sorry, that's Fast gutter spare. No, that was Lakota gutter spare. No, a 3-bagger as both these players on this pair to the plus. Lakota plus 42, Fa plus 19. Fa, 1 strike in 5 attempts here in Game 5, and oh my, headpin comes back across in front of the 8 and just laughs at it. Gives it a wave as it goes by. Yikes. So we'll get back to Dabrowski for his 10th frame. He put up a double in the 8th and 9th. McIntyre right now. He's hanging tough, 8th on the squad, -8. And, well, he's going to have a little more of the minus. He's come back off a slow start. Started at 167, 176. Came back with 223 and 226 in games 3 and 4. Ooh, Lakota. Oh. I actually thought that shot was going to go a little bit higher than it did. Knowles keeps the string going. Dombrowski looking to get to 241. Boy, you get that 7-10 back in the 5th frame and a little momentum change. Who knows what could have happened frame 6 and 7. I think his outlook's a little bit different, especially the 7th frame. Tried making a move and made things worse with that super washout he converted. Oh, I know there's some diehards on the West Coast that are tuning in now. 7 a.m. out in California, out in Vegas. I know there's some people that just made themselves a breakfast sandwich and sitting down to watch PBA regional action here on the PBA YouTube channel. So a little blemish on the score sheet here in the 10th for Dombrowski, but once again getting out of here. Any game you can get out with 220. My goodness. Take that all morning long. Keep piling on those pins in this eliminator format. Pinfall carries over round and round until we get to tomorrow's step ladder. .228 for Dombrowski. Nothing to sneeze at all. Once again, we want to thank the PBA for letting 10 on the Deck Productions stream this event on their YouTube channel. We also want to thank Doug and Laurie Davidson for bringing us down. It takes a lot to fuel up our Renault car. Go back and forth. We've got our 4-person tent pitched outside the bowling center. At least the weather's nice and warm here. And H5G Brands, another one of our great year-long sponsors for PBA Regional live streaming for 10 on the Deck. They are the official merchandiser of the PBA. Man, get yourself ready for that 2026 PBA season when it's on CW and with the various CBS Sports broadcasts, whether it's on the main network or CBS Sports Network. Get that order in at h5gbrands.com. Thanks to them for their many years of support for our PBA regional streaming. H5G Brands gives a lot back to bowling at all levels, not just here at the PBA level. been sponsors of some great events as well. Back in Wisconsin. Get that 5 out. Not going to happen for King. Oh, the barbecue. I can smell the barbecue. Somebody's been out the door like 3 or 4 times in the last few minutes, and that smell of barbecue is just infiltrating community lanes. 2 words a proprietor normally would never want to hear together: bowlers and buffet, as you throw the word complimentary in there as well. That could really affect the bottom line, but there's so many great sponsors that Community Lanes has put together for this event, including the title sponsor, Kremer Roofing. And there you see the list of your diamond, platinum, and gold sponsors coming on your screen. Lots of silver and bronze sponsors as well. And you can't put together a great event with a stupendous prize fund without the help of local sponsors from the PBA regions. And a little extra thanks to Brunswick and our host centers for the Brunswick Cup, presented by WCSM Radio. $10,000 in bonus money going to the 4 players at the top of the points list for this event here at Minster. The event Wednesday, Thursday in Delphus, and next weekend in Coldwater. $4,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $2,000 for third. And $1,000 for fourth on that Brunswick Cup prize list. Bailey Maverick not having a great day. Minus 65 for Maverick. Only with Trevor Ashby and Xander Crouch. Crouch hanging in 4th after 4 games. Crouch, your bowler B on this pair. Crouch's got a little work to do if he wants to stay in the plus.
Us old guys, you can't. You stay standing there. You go.
Thank you.
You want me to throw it away?
Thank you. Thank you.
Trevor Ashby, not a good day for Ashby. He's already hanging in the triple digits to the minus through his first 4. So your player movement between Game 5 and Game 6. Is a big move. You're going to see these players here with Maverick, Ashby, and Crouch moving from 7 and 8 to 13 and 14. So players will skip 2 pairs, land on the 3rd if you're double tabbing us. here this morning. As this squad on a good pace to finish in just about 4 hours. A squad players will have a nice time to relax on the buffet before the heat and humidity start piling on. And I'm sure some of the B squad players will get here a little early, have a chance to eat and relax a little bit before they're going to hit the lanes. At 1:30 p.m. Eastern, your start time for B squad here for the Kremer Roofing Classic. So once again, skipping 2, landing on the 3rd for your player movement. And game 6 will be underway for A squad momentarily at the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic from Community Lanes in Minster, Ohio. Glad you're joining us here with 10 on the Deck Productions in conjunction with the PBA on the PBA YouTube channel. Just drop the live scoring link in the chat. We'll get you the 5-game scoring update momentarily. Just have that one pair finishing their 5th game. And we'll see how many players are going to be above a 200 average after 5 games. Here's your clue. Not many. This Earl Anthony pattern 43 feet in length and about 34.4 milliliters in volume. Just giving some of these players big fits this morning. One player not having too many issues. We saw some issues in game 4, but a nice bounce back to finish strong by Justin Knowles has him as the only player in triple digits to the plus after 5 games. And some of you might be new to the PBA and wondering when we talk about scores in plus or minus. It's a pretty easy scoring system, especially as tournaments get longer and longer, because who wants to add 232 pins to 1,758 pins after 8 games in a tournament? Not me. So what the PBA uses is what's called a plus-minus scoring system. 200 is considered par for the PBA. Nice round number with 200. So what you do is take the total score of the player. So in this case, let's say for Justin Knowles, he had 927 pins knocked down after 4 games. So you take the par, which is 200, multiply it by the number of games already bowled, which is 4. Gives you 800. Then you subtract that number from the player's overall total to give you the plus or minus. So in the case for Knowles, 800, take that away from 927, leaves you with that plus 127 number. Brad Miller only knocked down 768 pins for his first 4 games. So you subtract 800 from that 768, that gives a minus 32, which is Brad Miller's score after 4 games. So it's a pretty easy scoring system once you get used to hearing it a few times. And I'll tell you what, when you get the game 47-48 of a tournament, just using plus minus is a lot better than using math on a 5-digit number. So Dombrowski, solid start once again. He's making the right moves when he's going from pair to pair. 3-bagger spare, and now making a double. That's 7-pin. Went about 3 different directions while it was still vertical before finally getting into the pit. Let's check in on our leader, Justin Knowles. Knowles opening spare after leaving at 4-7, went a little high, so let's see if he makes any adjustment here on lane 7. And gets them all to go. A little slow on that 6-10, but they managed to fall. Speaking on Graham Fa's been up in the top 5 all day long. He's had some problems stringing strikes together. Not having that problem, well, until we go over to him. in this game is he started with the front three. Wow. That's a way to get half we don't see very often for Scott McIntyre Jr. The 1, 2, 6, 7, and 10. There's about 4 ways to try to make this super washout and about 77 ways it's going to get missed. Oh, how about that? Just gets the 7 to lean. Still leaning. Oh, there it finally falls. The way breaks go for bowlers sometimes, it wouldn't surprise me if that 7-pin stood back up before the sweep. Would have taken it down. So here's your 5-game scoring update. Justin Knowles just keeps extending his lead. It's out to 102 pins over Patrick Dombrowski. Knowles at plus 173, Dombrowski plus 71. Ryan Lakota hanging tough. One of the management staff here at Community Lanes at plus 66. Graham Fa plus 41, Tom Source plus 29. That's your 5 players that are to the plus in this round. Xander Crouch, who was up in the top 4, takes a bit of a fall down with a 171 in game 5, moves him back in the negative, -7. Jonathan Norman -24, Scott McIntyre -41, round out your top 8. We're taking 24 players to tomorrow, so everybody's going to be looking at that 8th place number. Yeah, it's kind of the guideline of what the cut to that top 24 might be after C squad's complete tonight. Of course, if all things were fair, just and right in the world, we'd have 8 bowlers off of each squad advancing, but no, it is just the top 24 overall qualifying scores regardless of squad. I'll tell you what, if Knowles can put up a huge number here on A squad, that might have some bowlers pressing a bit more than they have to on B and C, because one thing to keep in mind is whoever the 1 seed is, and it's looking right now like it's going to be Knowles, is it's going to have to win the tournament twice. You get through the 17 games of competition in qualifying and elimination rounds. You're the 1 seed for the stepladder. You got to win again. Another interruption of a 3-bagger for Dombrowski this game by a 10-pin. So with McIntyre sitting in 8th place, he's kind of that target number for B and C squads coming in. Makes the move off the super washout and gets himself a double on the board, stays clean. Dombrowski did pick up that 10-pin. Oh, boy, some of these bowlers are just, it's not full fry yet for some of these bowlers, but they're getting there. As this Earl Anthony pattern is not played nice. Oh, exactly. I can smell the hardwood every time that door opens for the barbecue outside. Yeah, we're going to find a way to distract Bobby Jekyll before, so a few bowlers can get out there. Glad to have a chance. Wow, another bad break for McIntyre as he's trying to crawl back to the plus. Nick, the N prefix in front of a bowler's name is non-member. So PBA events, whether it's at the national level or at the regional level, are normally limited to members only. If it fills with members, non-members are out of luck. If it doesn't fill by a certain date before the tournament, they open it up to non-members. Non-members do pay a higher entry fee. It's a $65 higher entry fee for non-members this weekend and next weekend than it is for members. Also, as a non-member, they can bowl as many tournaments as they want as a non-member during a calendar year, but non-members can only cash twice during a year. So let's say for this week, we get a non-member like Xander Crouch, who cashes here. He bowls in Delphus, cashes there. He'd have to be a member in order to get another check out of Coldwater. He could bowl, but he wouldn't be able to get any money. And then, so that pretty much leaves that Brunswick Cup points list only open to PBA members as well. Because with 3 tournaments making up that Brunswick Cup points list, you have to be able to bowl all 3. So Dombrowski in the 230s again as he's finished off on 15 and 16. So Dombrowski trying to stay close to Knowles, but Knowles just keeps firing. Already the gap over 100, and even with a 230 plus game by Dombrowski, he could lose more ground to Justin Knowles. What a day Knowles is having. How about this? What a day Justin Knowles is having. So our players between Game 6 and Game 7, skip a pair of land on the second. Knowles you're going to see moving over to 11 and 12. So if you're following your favorite player, if you've been double tabbing us all morning long like some of you have, it'll be easier to find where your player's at. Skip a pair of land on the second. Player movement. And our 7 of the 8 games in the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. Coming up next, once again, I want to thank our year-long sponsor for 10 on the Deck Productions of PBA Regional Live Streaming, H5G Brands. Be bold, be creative, be original. Get those jersey orders in now. Beat the rush on the fall season, and they have a line of jerseys now that are ready to go. You can customize them a bit more by changing the colors and some of the looks. You can add all the logos that you need. And get those jerseys to you before your league season starts. h5gbrands.com. Kremer Roofing Central Classic continues to roll with our B Squad at 1:30 p.m., C Squad 7 p.m. Eastern. Well, as we mentioned, for Dombrowski, game of the 230s last game, not making up ground on Knowles. Knowles just keeps stretching things out. We'll get you over to Knowles after he gets underway here. In game 7 of this 8-game qualifying block here. At the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. I'm $2 Phil Brattle bringing you through the day. B squad coming up 1:30. We'll give you a lineup of some of the PBA Tour stars that are on that squad. C squad, pretty loaded as well. 7 p.m. Eastern time, your start time for C squad. We'll take a peek in on Justin Knowles momentarily as we're getting some data in. We should have our 6-game scoring update. And you got that live scoring link for game-by-game updates in your chat browser. Cooley. Why so dark? It's not a daylight lit bowling center. Lots of bowling centers, especially years ago, converted some of their light fixtures that exist to black lights for cosmic bowling, glow bowling, whatever you want to call it. And so a lot of bowling centers you go into, no matter where you go, approach areas kind of dark, and then the lanes are all lit up. So that's why you get a little dark delight as the bowlers get to the foul line. Unfortunately, I don't carry a lighting system with me. And it'd probably take me a couple of days to string everything up in the center. So, yeah, you'll see that next week in Coldwater if you watch any other bowling live streams that are out there as well. There's quite a few centers that, because they've committed light fixtures to cosmic bowling. I mean, when the PBA is not here, the center's got to make money to stay in business. So that's why it's a little dark in the approach area and much lighter in the lane area. And just with cameras, the way cameras work, it kind of intensifies the darkening a little bit more to focus on where it's light. So that's why you see a little dark in the area. We do what we can. Try to balance everything out, but I'll tell you what, part that really matters for me is watching that ball go down the lane, and you get some pretty good looks over the bowler's shoulders. As they attack this 43-foot Earl Anthony pattern. Dombrowski can't get the 7 to go. 1 strike and 6 frames for Dombrowski. Let's see what our leader Knowles is doing here. Not much. And he said he was going to try to stay in that urethane as long as possible, and I'm wondering now if it's trouble time, and he's made the move to reactive and now trying to sort out how that different look on the back end is going to be. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a different look all the way through the lane with urethane. But get your eyes refocused on that shape. One would think that obviously a tour caliber player like Knowles wouldn't take him that long. As McIntyre's finding more ways to leave combos with super washouts. Now this time he gets 4. Takes out the 3, 5, 8, and 9 pins with his first shot. It's not too often you see the picket fence with the 1, 2, 4, 7, and then throw the 6-10 on top of it. As Knowles is going to have to figure out something pretty quick. And yeah, that ball going away, not surprising. Yeah, we'll see if Knowles goes to a different reactive or if he goes back to maybe urethane, but a different drilling your surface on urethane, as he's got his bag back down behind lanes 1 and 2. Made his way there. He's up in the bag. Let's see what he's carrying back. I'd be very surprised if he brought urethane. Yeah, it's another reactive. And looks to definitely have maybe lane shine for the finish. Don't know the ball type. I'm not the I'm the play-by-play guy. I leave it up to my color guys to know what the bowling balls are. I leave that up to color commentators. I know urethane, I know reactive, I know the looks. I kind of gave up on the following the bowling balls when I personally stopped throwing them back before the pandemic. So new ball in hand for Knowles as he tries to solve the riddles that lanes 11 and 12 is giving him here in Game 7 on this Earl Anthony pattern. And nope, that's not the one, or at least that's not the line with that one. So Noel's still your leader after 6 games. 102 pins over Dombrowski. Plus 231 for Knowles, plus 129 for Dombrowski. After that, it's over 90 back to Graham Fott in third. At plus 46, Lakota is lane mate. Just a pin behind at plus 45. And that's your 4 players that are plus right now on this squad. We'll take a peek in on Lakota and Fa momentarily as they're right next door on 9 and 10 to Knowles. And Knowles not happy, and he thought he chopped it. He's surprised he has them both. So Fa stepping up on a 3-bagger. He's your bowler A in the 8th frame. Lakota having a big roll to hurt right now. Lakota's going to be under after this game. We may only have 3 players to the plus after game 7, depending on what Xander Crouch can do. Crouch at -9, McIntyre -14, Norman -19. Brad Miller trying to make a charge at -27 in 8th, with Source just a pin behind. Trevor Ashby had a huge game. Ashby was triple digits to the under after game 4. Bounced back 204 and 268 for Ashby to get to -30. So if Ashby can keep charging, maybe he'll see some action tomorrow on the lanes. Lakota can get the 179 max. That's not good out of the hand. Yeah, that was just, the leverage just wasn't there. It's peeking on Dombrowski. He's in the 8th frame as well, just off the 3-6-10. So Dombrowski, 1 strike in 8 frames. Pardon me, 2 strikes in 8 frames. Good news for him is he's at least staying clean. If you're having a bad game, get out of it with a 190 instead of a 160. And a great cover on that 3-6-10. There you see Brad Miller in 15 and 16. Miller not having a fun day. Grinding to get to -27. So once again, your live scoring game-by-game updates. Links in your chat. You'll see Dombrowski coming at lane 1 momentarily. On the left side of your screen. Or maybe not, he's going to let Volsard try to pick up the 210. Volsard well into the triple digits at this point. To the minus. Oh, 6 just gets enough for the 10 to take it down. Mentioned Source hanging in there, -28, 9th on the squad. And a decent game going now. Can get to 214. Getting out with 2-0 is huge at this point. Yeah, lose the 4. Here's Knowles, left side of your screen. Yet the strike here in game 7. And you'd be 231 over and 100 up on the next closest person and almost 200 up on 3rd on the squad. Just incredible for Knowles. And if he can strike out here and put 213 on the board, that could be a little demoralizing to a lot of other players not only here on A squad, but those bowlers walking in on B and C as well. Knowles yet to be under 200. His low game of the day so far through 6, 201 in game 4, where he made that big save after having some problems. One lane on the pair on 9 and 10. So having some serious issues with lane 10. Only 2 strikes and 3 opens on lane 10, offset by enough strikes on lane 9 to get out to 2-0. Dombrowski stepping up 10th frame. Oh, Noel's not happy with something in the field. Best thing to do, shake it off. Hey, and look who's back in urethane. Sometimes 9 spare, and a lot of 9 spares, and a few strikes here and there. It's better than a ball that, you know, when you throw it good, you can strike, but when you throw it not so good, good chance of an open. Yikes. And he's going to be happy to get off of 11 and 12 this game, no doubt about it. So your players between game 7 and game 8 simply going to move 1 pair to the right. So Knowles and company moving over to 13 and 14. For those of you double tabbing us. And just a single game remaining before we get to our conclusion of A squad. And some players are going to have to sit and sweat it out if they're near that even number on the day, even though you might be 6th or 7th on this squad. You're definitely going to be sweating. Players, though, like Knowles, Dombrowski, they know they're going to be looking forward to some competition tomorrow when that round of 24 starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. But our B squad today is going to start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and our C squad will take to the lanes here. The community lanes in Minster at 7 p.m. Eastern for the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. So Knowles comes back to the field just a little bit. That 166 game in Game 7, still a commanding lead with 1 game remaining. Get your 7-game scoring update momentarily. 24 games in total of qualifying coverage for you today here on the PBA YouTube channel. You got your 8 games finishing up here on A squad. B squad's going to get you 8 more. C squad will get you the final 8 to get to that 24 number. And tomorrow we're going to have 9 more games of eliminator rounds, with round of 24 consisting of 4 games at 11 a.m. And shortly after, we'll cut to the top 16 with pinfall carryover. 3 additional games. We'll cut to our top 8. 2 more games get us to our top 4 for our stepladder. Scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. So Dombrowski, rough start the last game before a solid finish. Now gets rid of the errant frames early and back-to-back strikes for the double in the 3rd and 4th. So we'll check in with our leader, Justin Knowles. He's just getting underway here in the first frame. And he'll fire before Dombrowski. Get your 7-game scoring update when that comes across the wire. Now, we're not the only regional action in town this weekend. Well, we're actually the only regional action here in Minster, Ohio, but there's other PBA regionals going on across the country. A regional I've covered the last couple of years. Sorry I missed it this year. 'Cause it's close to home. It's literally a 20-minute drive from my center, but there's some of the best PBA 50 players in the Midwest taking on the action at the PBA 50 Sussex Bowl Midwest Open, presented by H5G and powered by Cubica AMF Edge String. They're in the first of 2 qualifying squads today. And there's some good names on that roster that everybody would be familiar with. Jeff Johnson, Bill Fabian, Vince Biondo, former Team USA for many years. PBA Hall of Famer Tom Hess, Tony Oliva, Steve Kenyon, Anthony Ivanovich, Eugene McCune, Gary Allstott, John Verbich, Rick Wolozin, Steve Jaros, another PBA Hall of Famer there as well. So good roster in Sussex, Wisconsin this weekend. Like I said, sorry I missed it. We've streamed that event the past couple of years, but they had a date change this year, and we're here in Minster instead. In Asheville, North Carolina, it's the PBA Showtime Cup Asheville Open. And those South Region events usually have a lot of tour guys on the roster. Yeah, looking right now, I see Connor Pickford, Dick Allen, Kyle Troop's brother Tyler, Randy Weiss. Yeah, quite a few PBA and PBA 50 Tour players at that event in Asheville. In the East region, there's a PBA 50 Jordan's Lanes Open in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. And at historic Milwaukee Bowl, that's with the IE at the end, in Oregon, the 2025 PBA Northwest Dave Houston Open. They're going to be hitting the lanes right about now. And Milwaukee Bowl, historic 16 lanes there. I believe it's still wood lanes there. As the PBA Northwest region taking the lanes in Milwaukee, Oregon this weekend. So you can check out all your PBA regional action at PBA.com, and then when you go to the main PBA page, scroll to the top, you see PBA Tour. You open up a drop-down menu as soon as you scroll on top of that PBA Tour, and you drop down to the PBA Regional Tour, and that'll get you all that regional action information. Well, honestly, Knowles with his best start in 2 games right now with 2 marks. Oh. You just watch that 2-pin just shove the 5 straight back. Ball's got nothing to deflect on. Goes past the 9. Nothing else near it. Still be back-to-back marks for Knowles, who is our leader entering this final game of A-Squad qualifying. And even though Knowles gave back 34 pins last game with his 166 to the plus, he's still at plus 197. Your leader. Advantage over Dombrowski down to 83. Graham Fine third, plus 69. Xander Crouch bowling as a guest. William Tuff, plus 27. Jonathan Norman in 5th at plus 11. That's it for your plus on the squad. Ryan Lakota dropped to minus 8. Tom Soros minus 25. And then 8th place, minus 45 for Scott McIntyre Jr. You see McIntyre Jr. stepping up on a double. If you can throw a huge game here, get back to even, you got to feel halfway decent about your shot for tomorrow with 2 squads coming in. But once again, there's some big names coming in on B and C squads. I mean, let's look at B squad. Let's look at the tour players and 2 tour champions that are on there. Well, I see 3 tour champions off the top of my head with A.J. Johnson, Jason Sterner, and Kyle Sherman. Then added some tour players like Alec Keplinger, who ran second in the Rookie of the Year race in 2024. Michael Davidson, Frank Snodgrass, and yeah, that's a pretty solid squad right there. And then let's get over to C Squad at 7 p.m. tonight. Not a lot of PBA Tour champions on that squad. I see one with Anthony Lacaze, and that title was pushing 20 years. Along with Chris Prather. I mean, Prather, solid decade that Prather's had. But once again, a lot of players that bowl PBA Tour events. We saw Mikey Schleybaugh at the World Series of Bowling last year. Zach Tackett, Brian Robinson, Ethan Fiore, PBA Major Champion after he won the Players Championship this year. Your defending champion in Coldwater, Zeke Bate, and also your defending champion here in Minster with Ryan Liederbach. Throwing the Ginger Assassin, Anthony Neuer. And Gene Perez. Yeah. Getting the evens good. Will it be enough? We'll find out after all three squads are done today. Because this Earl Anthony pattern is playing tough. You get the plus 80, you're feeling really good when you leave. And Dombrowski definitely going to be at that plus 80 or better. Even with a rough start, he can get to 199, put him at plus 113 on the day. And then sit back, relax, enjoy the bowler's buffet outside, and see where you end up after B and C are done, and know you're coming back here tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time, for your round of 24 here in Minster for the Kremer Roofing Classic. And once again, we want to thank not just our title sponsor with Kremer Roofing, but all of our diamond, platinum, and gold sponsors you'll see scrolling on your screen. Numerous silver and bronze sponsors as well to help this event pay $4,000 to the champion tomorrow. And not only is that check a big one to look at over the next 8 days, you've got the big check coming up in Delphus. And then the biggest check of the run in Coldwater, $10,000 on top. Somebody's walking out of there with 5 figures on Sunday next week. And don't forget about the Brunswick Cup for the top 4 in points in those 3 events. $4,000 for first, $3,000 for second, $2,000 for third. Oh, how about that for Dombrowski? And $1,000 for fourth on that Brunswick Cup points list. And yeah, that'll make you smile on the way out the door when you wiggle the 4 one way and it falls down when it reverses momentum. So once again, every squad today is going to get a fresh application of the Earl Anthony pattern. 34.4 mils in that pattern. There's a lot of oil, especially in the fronts. I think some of these players have been fooled by a little slower than what they're used to with the fronts going away. As Dombrowski takes that one high, still in the 180s. Should be implanted in that number 2 spot on A squad. And we'll see more of the man leading Team Coaster bowlers tomorrow. Wow, Ryan Lakota. My goodness, he was looking so solid for the first 6 games. Actually, first 5-6 game wasn't bad. You're going to get a 180 in there here and there, but 147 in game 7 for Lakota, and now he needs to punch out for 2-0. And that's not going to happen. Yikes. I mean, Lakota was just at -8 coming into this game, and Stop looking at the scoreboard, Ryan. Figure it out. I mean, lane 12 has been his bugaboo. He's yet to strike on that lane. And now he's looking at a maximum score in the 160s. I mean, minus 42. Oof. I mean, minus 45 is McIntyre Jr. right now in 8th place on the squad. So, yeah, getting out of here with even would have been good. And especially now with McIntyre. He's pacing 220 right now and can get to 277. You're watching the guy behind you in the standings, if you're Lakota, go right past you. And, oh, that head pin tried to get out of the flat gutter. It would have gotten over that 10, but hung up in it. Graham Fa, man, you talk about a guy that's just grind all day long. Started off in the 240s. Then he followed up at 182, 197, 184 to basically be at even. He's bounced back with 222, 205, 223 to get the plus 69, and now with a big finish here can get the triple digits to the plus with a nice punch in the 10th frame. Once again, we appreciate everybody that's been watching all morning long. When you come back and join us at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, if you can do me a favor and let people know that you're watching some great PBA regional action here on PBA YouTube, and it's, once again, free to the consumer. As we have to thank our hosts here, Doug and Lori Davidson, footing some of the cost to bring me in. As 10 of the Deck Productions, we're an independent entity, and we have the cooperation of the PBA for letting us live stream on their YouTube channel.
So there's that.
And we also couldn't do it without our season-long support from H5G Brands. Get those league jersey orders in now. I was talking to one of their designers a couple of days ago because, hey, they made me some custom $2 fill jerseys that are pretty sharp. They got $2 bills raining down on them. Looking sharp, and I'm actually going to get that order relatively quickly, which was surprising with the fall league season coming up. They said, no, you're beating the rush. Everybody always kind of waits. So if you're looking to get some great-looking jerseys at a new lower price, even for the full customs, check out what's going on right now at h5gbrands.com. And we want to thank them again for their season-long sponsorship of 10 on the Deck live streaming here for PBA Regionals. So, looks like we have a little conversation going on right by our ambient mic. We got it pretty hidden, so people don't know it's there. I guess we should probably warn people about it. As Lakota just frying out. I mean, he's going to lose 44 to the plus. He's going to be at minus 52. Yeah, that's even with this Earl Anthony pattern playing tough, that is a big sweat for Lakota. That's a sauna type sweat that Lakota's going to have walking out the door. So we know 3 players in the PBA Tour we know will be back tomorrow. They're going to be your top 3 on your squad. Noel should be your leader. Dombrowski should hold second. And Fa should be in your number 3 spot. So we're going to let you enjoy the rest of this A squad with the beautiful sights and ambient sounds of Community Lanes in Minster, Ohio, and we'll be back with B Squad. We'll be timely. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, your start for B Squad for the PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. I'm $2 Phil Brilo. Hey, parents, take the kids bowling because you know they're going to have fun for life, and we will see you back here at 1:30 Eastern.
concludes your games of qualifying in the 2025 PBA Kremer Roofing Central Classic. Players, if you have not done so already, please get those score sheets added up, signed, filled out, and turned in to me in the tournament office. As soon as I get all the sheets and verify the scores,